All right. Thank you so much for joining us today here, Candice. Just want to start off with tell us a little bit about your career background and how you got into photography.
Okay, so I am Candice Camille Photography. I'm from the Skeetcheston First Nations band in the Swatmec territory.
Cool.
I do live in Kamloops, BC currently with my husband. And oh my gosh, I've probably been in photography over 6 years now. This is probably my seventh year, actually. And I really did stumble into photography. I had no idea anything about camera gear before, really anything about taking photos. So I learned as a complete newbie. And 7 years ago, this was all before iPhones and really cell phones. So it was old school camera gear. So the learning curve was really steep for me. But I had realized along the way that I was really passionate about this, and I was actually able to capture things in camera and portray the story behind what was actually happening in my life. A lot of my photos came from our ranch and watching my husband train horses. And I really wanted to express that connection that we had with the horses. And so I spent a lot of time learning about cameras and gear and how to better express what I was seeing and capturing that in camera so that other people could
Yeah.
experience it as well.
Yeah, well, you're doing an amazing job. I know I've been following your pages and they're captivating. The imagery of the horses. Did you grow up in the ranch style or the ranch lifestyle? Do you think that where your passion came from, or is this newer?
No, I'm definitely grew up being a horse crazy girl. I had horses from a young age all the way up. Like even now, we have quite a few horses here at the ranch. And I was, yeah, growing up in that environment around horses and working ranch and yeah, cowboy lifestyle.
All right, so you do have your ranch did make headlines recently in the news regarding a colt that was stuck in the mud. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. We do have a few herds in this area that are feral. They're on the rangelands all year long. And my husband is the range rider for this territory, for this area. And so we get a lot of phone calls about horses in distress or horses out or animals and livestock in general. But this time in particular, Jordan was out checking fence line because there are some holes in the fence, and the horses that were down low, they tend to run away really quickly. Like I've been having a hard time photographing them because I do a lot of these feral horses on my websites and galleries. You'll see a lot of them out there. But this particular herd has been really tricky for me to capture in camera because they literally run at the sign of you.
Hmm.
And this small herd was kind of hanging around the water hole and not running away from when he was there. And he thought that was really unusual. And
Oh,
so he had phoned me to come out with my camera because he thought this was the perfect opportunity for me to get some shots. And
wow.
when we were out there, I was photographing them from a distance and we were creeping up on them. And some of the herd took off, but two of them, the mare and the stallion, stayed back, and they actually were fairly aggressive with us. They ran at us a little bit, and it kind of made us go around the watering hole to get out of their way. And that's when we had seen the foal in the mud, and it all started making way more sense about why this mare and the stallion didn't take off. They were there protecting the baby, and it was stuck. It had to have been there for quite a while. It was completely covered in mud. So that's kind of where the story ensued. And I'm like, it is pretty incredible how I was out there with my gear and we came across all of this because it is
Yeah.
definitely not something in our
Yeah.
normal day to day, but to be able to capture it like that was pretty moving.
Just that wild lifestyle. That's amazing. Can I say people like you? I so admire people that can be on the land and have connection with animals. I was actually
Yeah.
in Skeetcheston. I'm saying it right, Skeetcheston.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I was up on, I think it's Buffy Flats where the buck horses are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool. And I started reaching for its face, and I was trying to, and it's like trying to get away from me, and the cowboys are like, "Okay, you pet it by its neck," and then
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, you guys are just an amazing type of people." What do you think makes our area so special?
Uh, wow. For me, it is how kind of vast our land is. And even from Skeetcheston to Kamloops here, I love the sagebrush and the grassland combination. It really is a diverse terrain, and it really does offer a wide variety of animals, from small little, rabbits to coyotes. And we seen wolves the other day out here on the range, which was my first time seeing them in real life. We were out riding, and a wolf was there. So to be able to go outside literally, and in 10-15 minutes you could be in the wilderness and have it be that wild. So I think that is what is really unique and special about
Yeah.
this area.
With your photography, what are some of your favorite pieces or favorite memories that you have? I know that's always a tough question.
It is really tough. I am really passionate about capturing the unique expressions and characteristics of horses, and really portraying that kind of emotional moments behind what I'm seeing in person. And there's been a few times where I look at prints or photos now, and you can still feel that. You can still feel what had happened in that moment. And I definitely have some hanging, like there's one behind me. There's some hanging in my house that I do have really personal, emotional connections to. But what I find that the most for me is when I hear back from other people, and they are expressing to me how connected they are to a photo that they've seen, or a story that I've written about with that photo attached. And it really draws to them in different ways. And a lot of it is emotional based. A lot of it is reconnecting people back to something. And to me, that's what I love to show in my photos.
So tell us, what's next? What can people expect to see from you?
Oh, even as of yesterday, we were out on the range and we went and found a feral foal. He's pretty new. He's like a week old. That's the latest video that was launched last night onto YouTube. So that is pretty new and pretty fresh. I can see him out my window right now following Jordan around the field. So stuff like right now it is foaling season. So I imagine over the next month, I'm going to have a lot of photos and more videos of the feral foals out. And, I really do spend a lot of time with these horses, but I also do have like my business side of it where I am hired by clients. So I still do have my clients where we had to reschedule for tonight because it's raining, but I'm going to go out and do a photo shoot of a pregnant mare, and we're going to call it like mare maternity. So it's going to be so cute, her big belly. And then we're going to come back after when she has baby and kind of take some photos and include the baby with it. So I love that kind of stuff. I definitely appreciate all my clients and everybody who does hire me. So
That's awesome. Now, if people want to follow on your amazing journey, where can they watch you? Where can they follow along?
Instagram is usually the first place I go to, either my photography page or our Camille's page. They really do intertwine quite a bit because our life is this. I am at home all the time on the ranch. So the horse side of my business and the photography side of my business is almost one, but each page does have something a little different. And then it moves over to Facebook. And TikTok. This is crazy. TikTok is so fun.
That's so exciting. Oh, I just love watching your stuff, and I love seeing what you're doing. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great chatting with you. And we're gonna send a link for everybody, or we're gonna post a link to your page as well on the Sun Valley News. So thanks so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you for having me.